This might be the ultimate easy carnivore breakfast wrap. A little cottage cheese, a couple eggs, some beef and bacon, and somehow it all turns into a wrap that actually folds. I have been making this one a lot lately because it's quick, easy, and most of it comes together in the air fryer. The Typhur Dome 2, or as we call it at home, the Space Shuttle. For this one you don't need much. About 200 grams of cottage cheese, that's roughly 1 cup, 2 eggs, around 150 grams of ground beef, which is about 5 ounces, a few slices of bacon, 1 tablespoon of butter, about 3 tablespoons of heavy cream, and around 50 grams of shredded cheese, roughly a quarter cup. Simple stuff, but it all comes together really well. I start with the bacon. I just line it across the basket. There's a lot of room in here, so you can fit a full batch without overlapping anything. Sometimes I will add a few extra slices just to have them ready for later. They go well with pretty much anything, as you know. You can fill this wrap with ground beef like I'm doing today, but honestly, leftover steak, pulled pork, or even just more bacon all work perfectly. Whatever is in the fridge, really. I set it to the bacon preset, but since the bacon here is really thin, I bring the time down to about 9 minutes. When it's done, every piece comes out flat and crispy. No curling and no soggy ends. We call this thing the Space Shuttle for a reason. It looks like it could take off any second, and it cooks like it means it. The bottom of the basket always catches that perfect layer of bacon grease, so I drain it into a small tray. We will need that later. Never waste good bacon grease. That's the #1 rule of carnivore diet. While the bacon is cooling down, I start on the base for the wrap. I grab a blender and add in all of the cottage cheese and 2 eggs. That's it. No overthinking and no long list of ingredients today. I blend it all for about 20 to 30 seconds until it's smooth and creamy, then set it aside. And that's basically your batter. Light, simple, and way easier than messing with anything dough related. Next, I get the basket ready. I take a piece of parchment paper and crumple it up. It makes it a lot easier to shape, so it actually stays put in the basket. And that's thanks to all of you who gave me this tip when I was making my first carnivore bread. So shout out to you. Then I grab the bacon grease from earlier and use a pastry brush to give it a light coat. It adds a bit of flavor, but mostly it keeps the base from sticking. Now I pour in the cottage cheese and egg mixture, trying to make it into a perfect square, or at least something that resembles one. Okay, let's just pretend that this is a perfect square. I smooth it out a bit with a spatula, then place it in the basket. I open the Typhur app, and I set it to 175 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. And that's it. Once it starts, I usually take a minute to clean up, or just watch it do its thing. And this is where the Typhur Dome 2 really starts to show off. It doesn't cook like a normal air fryer. It has got dual heating elements on the top and the bottom, so the heat wraps around the food instead of just blasting it from one side. Inside, there are also dual temperature sensors constantly adjusting in real time, which means that everything bakes evenly without me needing to flip or check halfway through. There are 15 built-in modes: air fry, grill, roast, bake, dehydrate, basically half your kitchen in one spot. And the self-cleaning mode hits 500 degrees Fahrenheit, burns off the grease from the top cavity, and once it cools, a quick wipe and it's spotless again. And it's quiet too. You can have it running while talking, filming, or in my case, overthinking the next meal idea. So yeah, it looks like a spaceship, but it kind of cooks like one too. That's why we call it the Space Shuttle. You can get yours by scanning the QR code on the screen or clicking the link in the description, plus get 10% off with the code MEAT. While that's baking, I start on the fillings. I grab a pan and throw in some ground beef, about 300 grams, but I will only use part of it for the wrap and save the rest for later. I use leftover bacon grease instead of butter. It gives the beef more flavor and nothing goes to waste. Once it hits the pan, that slow sizzle fills the kitchen. I add a bit of salt and let it brown on medium heat. In the meantime, in a small pot, I melt a tablespoon of butter, then pour in 30 milliliters of heavy cream and let it warm slowly. No rush, just enough heat to get it ready for the cheese. Right about now the air fryer beeps, the wrap is done. I take it out and let it cool for a couple of minutes so it firms up. Now back to the sauce. I add around 30 grams of shredded cheddar and let it melt into the cream and butter until it's thick and glossy. The ground beef has cooked perfectly, brown, a little crisp, and it's time to assemble. I spread the cheese sauce across the wrap, add the beef, then finish it with the bacon slices from earlier. Fold it up, give it a quick slice, and that's it. It's rich, cheesy, and greasy in all the right ways. One of those meals that's too heavy for every day, but too good not to make again. So yeah, that's the cottage cheese wrap. Simple ingredients, a bit of bacon grease, and somehow it turns into this perfect breakfast. It's one of those things that doesn't look like much when you start, but by the end you've got something that's actually worth sitting down for. If you want the air fryer I used, the Typhur Dome 2, all the links are in the description, and you can use code MEATMEAT for 10% off. Alright, that's it for this one. Thank you so much for being here today. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, like, comment, and I'll meet you here next time on Meat Carnivore.